Get ready for the next battle.
Hadouken! What the hell?
Flawless victory.
So originally my plan was to make a video just covering the genre of RPGs rather than a specific game, but I realized that's kind of a broad topic to cover, so I decided to focus on Fallout in this video, and I'll talk about my other favorite RPGs and why I love them, etc, etc. But I thought we would start with Fallout because I've been playing Fallout 4 recently because of the show, and I just love this series. My Fallout journey began with Fallout New Vegas on the Xbox 360 when I was growing up, and the moment I plugged in that game and started playing it, it just took me on a ride. Like, I loved New Vegas. And what's really interesting to me about Fallout is not only how iconic the series is, but how iconic the things from it became. I mean, you look at Pip-Boy, you know that's from Fallout. You see Nuka-Cola, you know that's from Fallout. You see a Vault Dweller suit, you know that's from Fallout. Like, it's crazy how much iconic stuff came from it. I mean, you go to Comic-Con or any other convention and you look around, and if you see a Brotherhood of Steel power armor suit, you know it's Fallout. I would even argue it's more iconic than Skyrim. I mean, Skyrim's pretty iconic in its own right, and I love Skyrim as well, but there's probably a handful of things you could pull from that people would recognize it from. But you pull, like I said, all these different items, suits, and mascots out of there. Even the enemies, like you pull an enemy out of there, people know it's Fallout. The gameplay of Fallout, I really enjoy. I mean, it's simple, where it's basically a first-person shooter. You just go around shooting, but just managing your bullets and having like a survival aspect of it was always appealing to me as a huge Resident Evil fan. I love managing like inventory, bullets, space. And it is a Bethesda game, and what would a Bethesda game be without its bugs? And Fallout, of course, has its fair share of bugs through characters clipping through walls, flying across the map, unkillable enemies sometimes. I mean, if we learned anything from Fallout 76, it doesn't always work, Todd Howard. But I would argue differently for those single-player experiences like Fallout 3, 4, New Vegas, where it does work, at least 90% of the time, if we're being honest. Either way, it's fun from the beginning of the story to the end of it. Another fun thing about Fallout, though, is the weapon selection. I mean, you got your basic pistols, shotguns, sniper rifles, you know, the kind of guns you would find in the wasteland or anywhere else. But then you got the weird ones, like baseball bats and junk launchers that can shoot teddy bears out, and baseball launchers that can kill enemies with baseballs, and it's just, they get very creative and weird with it, and I love it. Same can be said for the enemy variety. I mean, you got your basic raiders and super mutants, like things you would expect to see in a post-apocalyptic setting. But then you got the fun stuff like rad roaches, rad scorpions, mole rats, just all the gross and creepy stuff that you can shoot. And that's the thing I love about this game series, is they're not afraid to go dark and creepy and gross. Fallout's actually known for its dark sense of humor, where it will have like skeletons posed throughout their worlds. Like a skeleton will be sitting on a toilet reading a newspaper. They have a dark sense of humor that's very appealing and hits the nail on the head every time and never fails to make me laugh. I just think about the little Pip-Boy cartoons that they used to promote the games, and he's always getting chopped up by the wasteland creatures or shot up or exploding. They just know how to hit humor within their game and the marketing in their game so well, and I can't commend that enough. Another thing is how they approach the wasteland setting, where, yeah, it's an RPG, you're going to have enemies you need to kill, quests you need to do, but then there's like extra added factors such as, hey, there's radiation in this world. It's going to eat away at your health. You need to take medicine to either get rid of it or resist it. But you still need to eat and drink. So in order to not eliminate the radiation, but limit it, you got to cook your food, you got to watch what you eat, and sometimes you don't have a choice. Sometimes you're dying, you got to use that piece of food right away and take some radiation damage. It's just very cool how they did that, where it makes it stand out from the rest. It's funny because I'm not a huge like first-person shooter player. Like I love Doom. I think that's a great game. Another Bethesda game. How funny is that? But I mean, besides playing Call of Duty a couple years ago, I don't really dabble in that genre, and Fallout really pulls me in where it's a first-person shooter, but it's also like a fantasy setting, like Skyrim, again, same developers, but it has like those whimsical effects to it that make me really enjoy it. It's not just another Call of Duty game or Battlefield or whatever where you're just shooting the opposing army or whatever. No, there's a story, there's a setting, there is creatures out to get you, which makes it more exciting and thrilling. I mean, think about it this way. Like, if you're playing Call of Duty and you've been playing for years and you're tired of just fighting armies, what if it's the same game, you're shooting armies, but then all of a sudden a giant pterodactyl comes down and takes you away because you're playing on a dinosaur map? Like, it just adds that extra zest and flair to it that I've been looking for in a first-person shooter. And not to get off topic, but Doom does the same thing where, yeah, it's another first-person shooter, but it's rapid-fire action, you're fighting demons, there's a story again to it. It just makes it more and more exciting to me. They recently just came out with the Fallout show, and I watched it, absolutely adored it, thought it was great. Obviously, I have a few nitpicks, mostly involving the Brotherhood of Steel, which I'm not crazy about that questline in any of the games, so that's why. But other than that, they did a very good job with it. I was happy with it. I had fun with it. I can't wait for the next season. If you saw the post-credit scene, which I won't spoil because you should really go watch it. But yeah, aside from Fallout 76, which was a pretty bad game, I'm not going to lie, the rest of the series has been solid, and I'm looking forward to Fallout 5 and what they have in store for us then.
Lay the thing down before it goes off and hurts somebody.